Today I'm going to review a case study that details a specific social media campaign for the fast food chain Wendy's. I'll cover the goals of the campaign, what happened leading up to the campaign, what worked and what didn't once the campaign took off, as well as some metrics around the campaign. Lastly, I'll cover some of the results of this same campaign. Like most corporations today, Wendy's has been on Twitter for quite a while, since 2009, but haven't really used it as anything more than a standard ad vehicle that just happens to be on Twitter. In 2012, Wendy's hired Amy Brown as their social media manager. She was charged with building followers, increasing brand awareness, and most importantly, to lift sales at Wendy's stores through a social media strategy across all their social media accounts. Today, though, we're focused only on their Twitter activity. Prior to the end of 2016, Wendy's Twitter account was a lot like other fast food, retail, and e-commerce accounts you might find. Lots of pictures of their food, the occasional sales promotion, new item rollouts, and fan photos posted sometimes multiple times a day. Then in late 2016, something very interesting occurred. Wendy's tweeted a seemingly innocuous tweet about their fresh, never frozen beef, something the company had touted as an example of their higher quality food since the late 1960s. A couple of days after this first post, a Twitter user with the handle NHRide, also known as Thuggy D, shot back with a rude remark insinuating that their claims of fresh, never frozen beef were a lie and that they're considered a joke. Wendy's kept the professionalism and made it clear that they had in fact only sold fresh beef since their start in 1969. Well, that's when things escalated. Thuggy D replied, "So you deliver it raw on a hot truck?" To which Wendy's responded, "Where do you store cold things that aren't frozen?" Probably realizing he'd made a fool of himself, Thuggy D tried to change the subject to McDonald's and their, in his opinion, superior breakfast. To that, Wendy shot back, "You don't have to bring them into this just because you forgot refrigerators existed for a second there." That's what we call a mic drop. Wendy's witty response went viral. Anderson Cooper of CNN actually recreated the Wendy's Twitter exchange with Thuggy D on his news program on CNN, along with one of his cameramen playing the part of Thuggy D. And just about every print, internet, and video outlet in the country, if not the world, had picked up the story and was talking about this exchange and the Wendy's Twitter account. From that point, a new Twitter persona was born. Social media manager Amy Brown even updated their Twitter bio to read, "We like our tweets the same way we like to make hamburgers, better than anyone expects from a fast food joint." As it turns out, in the social media world, being salty ain't so bad. In addition to the tons and tons of earned media Wendy's had taken advantage of, they also saw their Twitter follower account almost immediately explode. In the first month of the year alone, they achieved a 35% bump in the number of followers, adding nearly 350,000 in the first 30 days. You can see from this chart how quickly they had achieved success with this campaign, measured by their follower count. One thing is for sure, they can also say they created at least one new sale with this campaign, thanks to this follower. Then a few days later, Wendy's had its first misstep in their new salty campaign. When a Twitter user asked for a meme, Wendy's tweeted a picture of what is known as Pepe the Frog, made out to look like their Wendy's company logo. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to Wendy's, Pepe the Frog was a symbol that had been adopted by anti-Semitic and racist groups, obviously causing both uproar and confusion with those who saw it. To Wendy's credit, they quickly deleted the tweet and within an hour had issued an apology. The lesson learned here is to do your pop culture homework before you tweet something out that could potentially damage the brand. Thankfully, Wendy's was soon back on track. Fans were waiting for and baiting the account for witty tweet after witty tweet, and Wendy's certainly delivered. Then on April 25th, 2017, a follower, Carter Wilkerson, tweeted, "Yo, Wendy's, how many retweets for a year of free chicken nuggets?" To which Wendy's naturally replied, 18 million. To Carter's credit, instead of reading this as a blow-off, he took it as a challenge, and the organic campaign Nugs for Carter was ready for liftoff. The hashtag Nugs for Carter went viral, and soon Carter was receiving support from celebrities and major corporations like Amazon, Microsoft, and of course, Wendy's. Eventually, Carter's original tweet broke the Guinness World Record for most retweets at 3,430,500 and counting, surpassing Ellen DeGeneres' previous record of 3,430,249 from the 2014 Oscars broadcast. In addition, it's been estimated that Wendy's received over $7 million in earned media value from the Nugs for Carter campaign alone. It's not surprising that while Carter didn't quite make it to his 18 million retweets, Wendy's still awarded him with his year's supply of nuggets. I'd say that was a pretty good return on investment for the corporation. As a side note, before Carter tweeted at Wendy's, he had only 138 followers. Today, he has over 114,000. How about some other results? Well, during Nugs for Carter alone, the Wendy's account gained over 330 million social media impressions, 149,000 new followers, and their own tweets, not counting Carter's, were retweeted nearly 281,000 times and liked just under 1 million. A tremendous amount of lift for the cost of a year's worth of chicken nuggets. Overall, since Wendy's started down this path in January of this year, they've gained nearly 850,000 new followers. So, all of this social media success should translate into monster profits, right? Well, not exactly. Wendy's corporate reported Q1 results that showed a year-over-year revenue decrease of just under 25%. Q2 wasn't much better either when they reported the same year-over-year figure, down just over 16%. A couple of points of note, though. Wendy's points out that throughout 2016 and going into 2017, the company had been selling off corporate-owned stores to franchisees or simply closing underperforming ones. So much of the reduction was attributed to just having fewer stores owned by the company to report sales from. They did note that they collected higher franchise fees in those same periods, which usually means more revenue coming from those franchise stores due to the franchisor, in this case, Wendy's corporate. It's also difficult to put an exact number on all of Wendy's store sales, as private franchisee owners are not required to report their sales to the public. So while the total sales picture might be a bit murky, what is clear is that Wendy's met their goal of building a stronger social media presence, especially on Twitter. Still today, they're adding 2,000 new followers on average daily, and their worldwide Twitter ranking is up to 420. All of these components added together equate to increased brand power, which is one of the objectives of a social media campaign.